G'day Raiders family, it's Bourkeys here and welcome to this week's edition of my post-match review against the Parramatta Eels on Sunday night. And what a gritty win that was. A real confidence booster and gives us some fantastic impetus for the rest of the year. Can you believe it that we're already 5 rounds in, or 20% of the season's nearly done and dusted? So these early wins, while they may seem, and people may say, oh, it's early in the year, by banking these wins right now, it's critical to those mid-season blues that some teams have around origin or injuries, and just gives us some breathing space towards the end of the year. So the more wins we can put on these sides now, as I said, it just grows our confidence, third on the table, and I'm really liking the smell of this side. Just a few things that I done on the weekend, which I'll come to shortly in my top 10, really give me some really gritty confidence and some real passion about some of the things we're now doing as a footy team. Things that we knew we had in this side, but until we got some new blood and some new belief primarily, we haven't been able to bring that out onto the field. Well, I think that's now happening. So look, let's get into the top 10. The first one, obviously, our defence. Now, a lot's been written about it. The thing I'm noticing more about our defence the last couple of weeks is we're actually attacking in our defence. Our attack's always been great, but you can actually win games by attacking in defence with our hits and our passion and our talk. That sort of thing rubs off not only on yourself, but opposition teams hear that talk. And on the weekend, you could hear some of the smashing hits from a number of our guys did. And those sorts of things really instill a lot of confidence. So when you can attack in your defence as well as have great attack, it's just a fantastic combination to have, and really adds a lot of spark and stability to what we're trying to do as a team. To have 2 shutouts in 5 weeks is usually unheard of at this sort of level of football. So that is that's a magic effort for the training staff at the start of the year, the coaching staff, and also the players for now putting this belief into action to make it come to fruition. So it's really critical now that we just maintain that momentum from here on. Number 2, I've gone for Hodjo. Look, without a doubt, Hodjo had a fantastic game, and I cannot fault him. I think he got 3 points in the Dally M. But to me, a couple of times, things still seemed a little bit clunky with him, and not so much him, but the other attackers. A few times there were guys weren't there when they should have been. I just think sometimes Hodjo just might be too clever at the moment for some of our plays. He knows where he's going, but the players aren't picking up those impulsive instincts that a team need to get with him to know exactly what he's going to do without him actually saying it. So I know a couple of times Blake Austin, when he was on that right edge or left edge, knew what Hodjo was doing. Also, Joe Tarpany knew a number of times last year what Hodjo was about to do on the short side. Now, both those guys, unfortunately, aren't here anymore, particularly Joseph, who's out for 8 weeks, which is a massive blow to us. But it just seems sometimes Hodjo was the only one that was knowing what to do. A couple of times he seemed to have panicked with some kicks that may or may not have been on. I know the Elliot Whitehead try was scored from a second or third tackle kick. A couple of times Hodjo was looking for a 40-20 out of dummy half, and he didn't get it quite sweetly enough. But look, I think those things will click over the next couple of weeks. To be honest with you, I don't feel our attack has really clicked out of dummy half at all this year as fluently as it has in previous years, and that is a positive sign. Once that really starts to click into action from that attacking perspective, it's just going to add volumes to our confidence and our ability to put sides to bed. But look, Hodjo's game was great, but I just think there was a few times there he went and no one was there, or some of the players didn't know what plays they were running. But that's some great stuff to work on. Number 3, I've gone for zoning in. Now, what I mean by zoning, I want to come back to the defensive side of things. The likes of South and the Roosters particularly, and Melbourne, they hone in or they zone in on players from oppositions who run their plays. Now, last week I mentioned the big 4 for Parramatta Junior were Mitchell Moses, was Ferguson, and that Gutherson would run off the back of those 3 and make himself involved. Well, the way that we defended Paulo and Ferguson and Moses, Gutherson had nothing to offer and was hardly sighted in the match. Now, what we're now doing as a team, we're becoming very ruthless with opposition's players that are their strong points. and we're really trying to nullify them out of the game. The Elliott Whitehead hit on Junior Paulo was beautiful. Jack's one-on-one hit with Blake Ferguson when he rubbed his broken nose was awesome. And those sorts of things lift sides. So we're really starting to get a little ruthless edge about us where we're really going after opposition players and trying to make a statement. Now, that's a really, really good thing, I think, for our chances for the rest of the year. So I want to see more of that, particularly this week against the Broncos, which I'll cover in my top 10 on Friday. But this is a really, really positive sign for our side that they're starting to think like a top side, becoming ruthless in who they attack in opposition teams. Number 4 was our fitness. Now, I just think our fitness this year with a more mobile pack, I think you can see the lift in the way we're playing the game, particularly in defence. Our line speed on Sunday was first class, but we just seem to be a lot fitter and our running game's out a lot better. Sure, there's going to be stages during the game where we're a bit flat, but most of the time Sunday and previous weeks, I think our fitness has been exemplary and we're really running sides around, particularly when Jordan Rapana comes off at half-time against the Eels, basically gives the match plan away by saying they want to play Parramatta straight down the middle. Now, that's a really nice air of confidence to back yourself to know that, hey, our fitness is better than yours, and that's our game plan, and we're not going to hide anything from you. This is where we're going to play. So I think our fitness level this year has been first rate. Number 5, I've gone for BJ. Now, other than the North Queensland game when he gave away that penalty, and I think against the Knights as well, he has been fantastic for us this year. Yes, he has small pockets of brain explosions, but I just think 5 rounds in, his discipline this year has been first class. You can always see he's on the edge playing, but I'd rather him be that type of passion than sort of become introverted with his style. BJ's a passionate player. He plays with a hell of a lot of emotion, and he likes the hard stuff. He likes to be belted. He likes belting guys back. But I can't fault his discipline this year other than those 2 penalties, one which was incited on him. So I think he's becoming a real leader in our back line. We know what he possesses, but I think some of the runs he did on the weekend, bringing us out of trouble, were first rate. They're the runs you do not want to make as a back or a forward when you're hemmed into a corner and you're looking up into the open and there's 4 or 5 guys who want to zone in and keep you in the corner by a smashing hit. So I can't fault BJ this year. I think he's been out and out superb for us. And once again, that combo with Leipana still hasn't really clicked into gear yet. So that's another positive we got over the next couple of months to look forward to. Number 6, I've gone for Nickel Clockstead. I just think this guy has been wow factor for us. Like, let's be honest, the strength he's got in his hips and his core, his second and third efforts on the weekend, if you go back and watch the replay, particularly when bringing the ball out of trouble, he was taking 2 hit-ups in the first set of 3 tackles. Now, for a fullback, the forwards look at that and it gives the forwards an enormous amount of confidence, and a guy like this is taking 2 rucks to give them a chance to get a breather. But he's not just taking rucks, he's actually getting some awesome yardage. Like, he's getting 15, 20 metres from his kicks return, and then his second or third tackle, he's getting another 10, 15 metres, breaking that line open. So this is really, really a positive sign for our back 3, that we're getting 40, 50 metres from those guys in each set of 6 tackles when they bring the ball back. He's safe under the high ball. He's now starting to sniff around those edges, looking for an off chance. His footwork is great, so he'll very rarely get belted, which is another positive sign. He very rarely gets taken down by a one-on-one tackle. There's usually 2 or 3 into a tackle. If you're getting 2 or 3 into a tackle on a fullback, guess what? It means you have some space, a couple of passes either wide of the ruck on those edges, because most of the defenders have been sucked in to try and keep him contained around that ruck area. So once again, first 5 rounds, he has been awesome for us, and I can't see any reason why that won't continue. Number 7, I've gone for Jack. Now, rocks and diamonds on the weekend with Jack. I think he had maybe 5 or 6 errors crept into his game. When he was at fullback, it was probably more difficult for him to make up for those errors. On the weekend, a number of times he made up for them. The hit on Ferguson was brilliant after he made a mistake. I think he went in and belted Ferguson and then caused the turnover for the scrum. His kick chases have been exemplary again, and they were on the weekend. His catch for the try was fantastic. That was all Jack, and he's using his strength and his height to really impose himself on those kicks. And once again, that causes oppositions a lot of concern. A guy that height as a fullback jumping in the front line is massive. But once again, rocks and diamonds, 5 or 6 errors might seem like a bad day for him, but with Jack, he quickly forgets about it and zones in on the next play. And as a 5'8", that's what he's got to do. He can't be kicking rocks because if he's not thinking about the next play, he's going to be caught out again. So look, I think these errors will improve. It's just a matter of him making sure that he learns from them but moves on quickly and just tries to pick the right plays and when to go and when not to go, particularly with his kicks. He just seems to be rushing his kicks a little, but he just needs to breathe, have a little bit more time and know he's got some time to get the kick in where he wants it to go. Number 8, I've gone for young Hudson Young. Now, I thought Hudson got a bit more game time on the weekend. I think he'll get a lot more this weekend. With Joseph Fowl, I don't see any reason why Hudson Young should be dropped. I thought he was awesome on the weekend. He's got really good footwork close to the line, and for a fairly nimble guy like he looks, he's got a really good build for an edge runner. He did a smashing tackle on the Parramatta 5'8", which caused another turnover. And he just seemed to blend in really well. Once he came on with Sia and Havili, I think that helps his confidence. Coming on with a couple of guys of that stature and that maturity and that experience. He's got some good guys and some experienced guys either side of him that can help him through some sticky patches. But I was really impressed with his game when he came on for that 15 to 20 minutes towards the back end, where once again the game wasn't over. We needed some solid defence and some solid runs, and he most certainly provided that for us. Number 9, I've gone for Sia. I just thought Sia's runs on the weekend, and you could just see the impact he gave us. He was bending the forwards back. He particularly targeted Mitchell Moses in defence, and once again, zoning in on those weak spots of other teams and imposing himself quite remarkably through those middles and those edges and making guys hurt in tackles. I thought Sia's game was awesome and exemplary, and he really led from the front. I mean, when bench players come on, you need them leading. They're fresher and they're fitter, and they can't spend time trying to get into the game. They've got to hit the ground running straight away. And Sia massively, and Havili to a bit of a lesser extent till he got that knee injury, were enormous for us. But our spiritual leader, Sia, you don't need to really say any more words about the guy. He just knows what to do on that football field and knows how to get the best he can for the team with his passion, the way that he plays. Number 10, I've gone for Elliott. I just think the guy, once again, was massive for us. As I said, the hit on Paulo in that second half really made a statement, actually. It was great to watch. It may have been the second half, actually. I can't remember which half it was. But he really made a massive impact just with that hit. But just his opportunity to sniff around the rucks, his clean-up work around the middle is awesome. His one-on-one tackles, the way that he helps Hodjo out in defence. As I said, we do not need Josh Hodgson doing 45 to 50 tackles a game and trying to run our attack. But with Elliott there taking that flow off Josh and doing some awesome one-on-one tackles, his performance for us was enormous. And we just got a really, really, really good balanced pack right now, guys. I'm really salivating at the way these guys are playing for each other. I think our depth coming through, even with our Tarpany out for 8 weeks, we've got Hudson Young, Horsburgh, Gula, Hunt, all sort of champing at the bit. So it's going to be really interesting to see which way Ricky goes at tonight's selection table as to who replaces Tarpany. I must admit, I haven't seen Emre or Royce play in Mounties this year. I'm sure they're playing well, but it's going to be a really interesting call from Ricky to see if he puts Horsburgh back in straight away or gives him some more game time and brings one of the other guys up. But back to Whitehead, we're very, very lucky to have this guy with us. His clean-up work, he's a tough, gritty, hard-nosed pommy, as are the others, and this is a really, really positive sign the way the Elliott's playing. So, guys, that's all for me this week. I'm really pumped up for this week's Broncos game. I think if we can just get this win as well, it's just going to set us up even better for the year, guys. So, as always, bleed green, and this is Bourkeys out, and look forward to seeing you Friday for my pre-match top 10. Bye for now.